Make sure that Clear has a champion that is going to be a neutralizer, that doesn't have very many hard lanes. I say that, I feel like Siwoo, if he really wanted to, could pick up something like a Gwen here if he was really feeling it. Also the Jax, which is another one of the only few champions he has played here in this tournament, would do well as the game does go on, but also means that Nico has made it on through, who was a ban in the second phase of game number 1.
Yep, and that's going to be immediately picked up for BeryL. A lot of setup from that bot side in terms of the team fight. Maybe a little bit more consistent with that this time around to start us off, but they always get the 1-2 punch. So we'll see what kind of answer they. What is Mimi doing?
Mimi.
What is Mimi doing? She's just like jumping around.
Yep, she's
adorable.
just going in my chair. Thank you.
Nice.
Mimi.
We need the Mimi cam. Just replace me, bro. Just come on. Call me off already.
No,
Just
okay.
give
Hey,
Mimi
wait a minute. You were literally like, no, I want to cast the finals, please.
But Mimi's so much better than me.
I didn't say
bro.
that, okay? I just wanted to be
I
known
did.
I wasn't the one that said that. Okay.
We do get
we
the
get further
Jax,
into this
though.
draft. Yeah, exactly, as you're mentioning. So Siwoo still sticking to more of the champion pool that we know him for here in ASI. And for BNK FEARX, okay, the Vi. I mean, sure, Jarvan, Wukong are off the table here. You want champions that are going to have direct line of access. I think also just makes the game simpler, which, you know, we were calling for in game number 1. Just the ease of execution needs to kind of be there for this team to make sure that Diable can carry.
Yeah, and we saw moments. We saw little tiny moments in that game number 1 of his potential to carry. And he's going to have the Kaisa this time, so that killer instinct going to be extremely important to find the positioning for. And a lot more onus on him again in game number 2.
Hell yeah, but it's Kaisa, okay?
It's
Kaisa can do
Kaisa.
a lot more than a...
Not LPL Kaisa, but it is
Not
Kaisa.
an LPL Kaisa. You're right, you're right. I think this is okay. One thing that will be needed to note here, though, that I am expecting that this could be an AP Kaisa, just so that it's a little easier to deal with champions like Jax. Jax, especially for what we are seeing, I think with these 3 champions, does operate pretty well with the Counter-Strike versus a lot of them. And BNK FEARX, they're going to have to walk into a team fight. They're kind of going for not a dive, but very similar to something that looks like it, versus a team that has a Nico, a Jax, a Zinzao. Like, all of these champions have abilities to deal with what they're showing.
You know what'd be really good at this comp?
What's up?
Ambessa.
Nope. Fearless. Fearless said
No,
no.
I that's the point.
Yeah.
That they grabbed it last game. They weren't able to get it with this kind of dive-centered comp. But they will have a little bit of frontline for themselves. I do find the Zinzao interesting. Has fallen off a cliff in terms of priority, but still giving Lucid some of that skirmish setup that he really, really loves to have. And now they need to kind of tie that all together in the second phase, as we do get the Talia and the Alistar ban from DK, while the Xayah ban already from BFX.
Also means that Trundle is very weirdly not allowed to be played in this game because BFX decided to opt for the Vi blind tier. So, second phase of draft, no mid laners chosen for either team. I feel as if for Dplus KIA, since you know that the Kaisa is here, you kind of want to just take whatever AD carry aiming is going to want and then allow for ShowMaker to get counter pick. And for more information, again, one of the biggest things coming into this tournament that we were looking towards was ShowMaker's champion pool. He's played some of the most champions, unique champions throughout the year, thanks to Fearless. So hopefully we get to see a little bit more from that. And it is going to be the return of Kellin. Hopefully a little bit better than our LPL representative in Light.
I got a little bit more terrified for Diable now in that lane. The Caitlyn range is going to be very hard to deal with. The Nico lockdown, very hard to deal with for that low range carry. So maybe seeing what Diable can do later on into the game once it's more team fight centric, as we'll see what they want to finish out with. They still need to grab their support. They'll go ahead and start with the Ahri, tried and true combo with the Vi in the mid lane jungle combo.
I wish this was a Nautilus from Kellin, I'll be honest. I think Nautilus gives you the point and click ability of his ultimate to make plays happen, and REL can be a little susceptible to getting taken down by champions like a Jax or a Zinzao once we get into later game skirmishes. So what is going to be the pick here for ShowMaker? Because I feel like their champions in isolation win a lot of their lanes, but when it comes to team fights, I don't feel like the identity is quite as cohesive. It's going to be a Lissandra on 5, so I'll be honest, Lennon, kind of similar to game number 1, I feel like Dplus KIA have opted for drafts that have basically said, okay, we're going to stop whatever you want to do before you can get going. And not necessarily building in something that is a painting or an idea of something. I
know it's a little bit old now, but you know the whole wait, that's their whole theme this time around. They're just gonna be holding off BFX's attempts, because I do think that BNK FEARX, they need to have advantages. Like, you don't draft this Vi Ahri without finding advantages, without finding a lead through that mid jungle. If you're not, then yes, you still have the utility, you still have that kind of point and click, I'm going to take down one champion, but you really want to have a bit of an advantage. And that's also where we look at last game, where Dplus KIA had so much objective control. Like, we had a dragon, maybe 2 go the way of BFX, but now you're on the blue side, you have a little bit of a different style comp. I'm really wondering which version of BFX we get now.
It's so confusing to me. Just BFX, like, we have a champion that can allow for Diable to make space and play the fights. He has a lot of agency to himself because he is playing the Kai'Sa. And Vi Ahri has, you were mentioning lack of priority or dropping in terms of how popular these duos are. Vi Ahri has completely fallen out. Nerfs to Ahri, nerfs to Vi in particular, other champions kind of rising up as well. The addition of Trundle to the game, I feel we have definitely seen these two kind of fall off. And for BFX, they can scale it later into this game. I think they have so many tools to make things happen. It's just whether or not DK are going to allow them. So tracking early dragons are going to be very, very important for me.
And I also think ShowMaker is going to have a little bit more say in this one as well. I know he had a lot of big impact on that Malzahar, but especially the pressure he can provide in mid lane to keep the roaming nature of the Ahri in lane and in check is going to be extremely, extremely important in this one, especially earlier on. I do expect the action to be kicked off by the jungles, and we'll see what kind of pathing they want to take early. I'm sure we'll be getting game here soon, maybe just a few little difficulties before we do.
Maybe they're just trying to, it's LCK versus LCK here.
Gotta make sure we take time.
Yeah. Lennon, how's your day been? I know you said you were a little busy.
Oh, it was
Obviously,
awful.
Well,
it was great, and then it was awful.
Oh.
I also spent 3 hours stuck in a parking garage today. It's the first time that's ever happened to me, and I hope it never happens to me again. I was parked on the 5th floor. The exit got broken, I guess, and then you know, it's the classic, like, you're 5 stories up on a giant parking garage. There's like tons of people leaving at like 5 p.m. so everybody's trying to leave at the same time, and everybody has to be the kind person to let the other people out, and then you just end up stuck.
Well, you're supposed to do that. That is what you're supposed
people
to
backing, like, so little thing. Like, I was waiting for 3 hours, right? And there were people that would just like come in, get in their car, and then be like way in front of me, even though they just got to their car. And I'm sitting there waiting in my car. I've been here for 3 hours. Let me out. And it doesn't happen, dude. I felt like I was in purgatory. We didn't move. We're stuck in it. It was an experience that I hope never happens again.
So we can make a comparison here. What was worse, 5-hour pause on NACL for the promotion tournament, or waiting in a parking garage?
I didn't have to do the pause, so the parking garage.
Hey, there we go. It's a Siwoo hardware issue, so it's not our fault. You can see on the screen. Hopefully I like there's a typo in there. It says, instead of the staff, it says the stuff are handling it.
the stuff are handling.
That is true.
Is your stuff handling it? How was your day? Did you also get stuck in a parking garage?
No, I've been home all day.
I see.
Not great news, but also my sleep schedule is just very boo. Hey, okay, cool.
Hey,
we have to talk about
rotating
ourselves.
banners, rotating. We're rotating. We're getting into game number 2 now.
I asked Kai, producer for the show and just observer across the world. Oh, Lucid does lose his flash. Those rotating banners are a mistake. They're supposed to be set before the game when you have access to Tournament Realm. So the people
I want to figure out what the blue ones are.
Those are the Worlds ones, because those are in the style of Worlds. They just didn't set all of the banners.
Nice. I like
yeah.
the rotating. It makes it feel homegrown.
Yeah. The Worlds banners are part of Summoner's Rift, like this version of Summoner's Rift while we are at Worlds. And the actual banners themselves, you can choose them as the lobby host / creator. So there's different banners for different leagues. So like LTA
rotating
has one,
banner
LPL
supremacy.
Ones. Yeah, it's supposed to be different. Obviously, it's a bug. We are seeing that Aiming and BeryL are staying in this lane. They're going to get a lot of damage down onto Kellin.
And that early ward going to play him out, but we take a look at the map state. We do have the lane swap-a-rooney coming through. So Diable said, just like we had said from draft, I do not want to go into a Caitlyn Nico lane with my lack of range. We're going to play away from that.
All right. Jax feels like a very good champion to play into marksmans, though. Particularly marksmen that don't have dashes or any kind of mobility. So Diable needs to be careful. Also, we saw this in the Nongshim series last night. He got solo killed as Yunara versus Ornn. So hopefully we don't get that from Diable. It is also going to be Lucid losing out on his Raptors camps here. So good job here from BNK FEARX's jungler to get a little bit of early information as well as steal some resources from his opponents.
And we will see the opposite side pathing for both junglers again, but on the other side this time around. A little bit flipped, as want to see if they actually end up going for anything with these kinds of mirrored starts with the invades coming through and the kind of vertical setup that we have going on potentially here.
I think that's very interesting, by the way, that we're seeing Lucid immediately react to his Raptors being taken by going to blue buff. Now, he's not going to finish all of these camps. You can see that Diable's trying to crash this wave. They know that Kellin should be on his way over here, now spotted on a ward. I think Kellin showing like this at level 1 basically saved Diable at least maybe a little bit of HP, if not a summoner spell here. So good forethought and movement coming in from Kellin.
Yeah, I think that early roam means a lot, especially just for the gravitas you bring to the top side if you are going to be around there. But VicLa was almost caught in the mid lane, although they did end up seeing Lucid pathing down towards his bot side. The pressure is still on, though, Alk. I mean, they are continuously pushing in this bot side, and Clear is not having a good time. I'm just going to say that right now.
You signed up for he literally B1 Scion. I think he knew what his job was today.
But the power of Caitlyn is push and move. You just pound the turret, get as many plates as you can, move Caitlyn somewhere else, get more gold, and the snowball is just too much to handle a lot of the time.
Well, let's see what the case is here, because he's only up 100 gold, right? And similar things were being achieved. Also, you look at the top side right now, Raptor is going to be able to get a respawn camp here of Lucids. And he also has his support in the area. They have Prio for mid. So while the Kellin is getting strong, I feel like the other parts of BNK FEARX's map are actually doing fine for themselves, if not gaining minor advantages there. And Scion, outside of Jackson a side lane, I have very, very high hopes for what he's able to do in this game. Because really nobody from the side of Dplus KIA deal with him very well.
At some point later on, Caitlyn will, but it's going to be a long way.
She hits him for 4,000 headshots, and by the time that happens, he's already in zombie form and punching her in the head. Like, there's not much room. You and I both should know, Scion versus a Caitlyn, not fun, even if we have items. It takes a long time to punch through his HP bar.
Definitely does, as we get thinking a little bit about these objective setups. We had seen last time in game number 1, Dplus KIA on the blue side had full and total neutral objective control early on into the game, even going for that early dragon, getting all 3 grubs. See if that's going to be a different case this time, Alk.
We do see that Lucid does have the ability to move. I want to see what our mid laners are looking like right now, because it's not going to be this wave, but the next one that grants them level 6. And I think that's going to open up a lot of play patterns for both of our teams. Now it's Kellin finding a little bit of an engage, but has to be careful because he's not only going to lose a lot of his HP here. His jungler is not going to be able to move first. This might ruin BFX's timer to go for drag.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to feel confident now that Kellin doesn't really have much health left. Did have to burn the heal, so we're going to see the charm in mid lane. ShowMaker getting chunked down by VicLa. But you could see there was a 3v3 brewing on the bot side. Lucid's going to go ahead and start up the Dragon now. Pull it out of the pit as well. As Clear actually getting the better of Siwoo in the top side. But that's still going to be the first Dragon over DK. And that's going to feel real nice.
Yep. Good trades coming in from Dplus KIA. Making sure they can stabilize these lanes. Ultimate's now available for our mid laners. Want to see if we can get VicLa to move around the map. He's been able to get priority very early on. That'll continue to be the case because it's just a lot easier and simpler for an Ahri to move around the map. But if he doesn't have prio, if his lanes can't really keep up versus the double ranged of the Caitlyn and Nico, then things become a lot more difficult and it becomes unclear as to what this team is going to be able to get done just around the map.
A little bit of proxy farming in the top side going through for BFX, but I love it. I think I want to talk about it a little bit more as, you know, we talked so much about the combo of Vi, Ahri, but do you want to gank a Lissandra? I don't think so. Like, I think even with that combo, it's difficult as a little bit of a healthier mid laner, but it's all, especially with the CC chaining that you can have and the exit with the claw. I just think it dissuades Raptor from really wanting to pull this combo off.
Yes, I think if you can grab Lissandra ult or force her away, she does have pretty high or pretty intensive mana costs. So as long as you can keep Lissandra stuck in lane, she can't really move all that well. I think it would suck, obviously, to lose out or trade 2-for-1 in terms of ults versus ShowMaker. But if Lissandra can't join, her abilities are pretty weak. She's essentially gated around how powerful her passive and her ultimate are. So I think it's not at all a too bad a trade, especially because VicLa's ult is going to be a rather short cooldown. Now, I say all this, Lennon, and I'm immediately depressed. Because I see a Catalyst of Aeons being built for an Ahri. That means that the combo is not going to deal damage. We are basically just building to maybe get a couple of rotation of spells off. Maybe we have higher uptime on our charm, but I'm not too enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, and we did end up seeing the lane adaptation from DK. They did end up bringing... Oh, we got an engage on Diable. That's going to be the cleanse down. That's actually a pretty big cooldown. Aiming had gone to topside very early, but DK behind the ball on the grub play, as there was a couple setups in mid lane that BFX were looking for, did end up losing the Spirit Rush from VicLa. ShowMaker is doing his damnedest to take down this side lane turret, but that will be all 3 grubs to BFX.
Wait. I think ShowMaker can get one more plate after the wave because Clear's going to have to use his ultimate to get here. ShowMaker's going to maybe get one more. I think you're allowed to at this point. You see everybody else. Maybe you don't see where Vi is, but you should have an idea as to where her camps are going to be. ShowMaker gets paid. Those were 2 plates.
No!
And BNK FEARX... Oh,
he's going to go for it.
There we go.
There we go. My goat.
There we go. But I don't really see BFX being a team that uses the grubs all that well. I think this is more of a stopgap measure to make sure that your opponents aren't able to get more with this Caitlyn.
And still some very interesting lane assignments coming through from BFX. They are sending VicLa up towards topside to deal with the 2v1. Siwoo will be in the mid lane dealing with Diable and Kellin. And it's really just back to the ticket item of Caitlyn wanting to push in side lane turrets and get as much gold as possible.
So let's do a little bit of a check-in. We're at 9.5 minutes. He has about a 20 CS lead. Doesn't have calls, so Diable will be able to make up some of this gold deficit, but down about a 400 gold. Aiming got 3 plates bottom lane. If he can get a little bit more, they still have about 4 minutes before they go down. I want to make a check-in at 14 minutes and see where our Caitlyn is at, because if the gold lead isn't too overwhelming in any of the lanes, especially in the Caitlyn, feeling not all that bad for our chances on BFX.
Yeah, for sure. I do love to see that Lucid and Raptor still willing to kind of go at it in the jungle, although Lucid got the better of the Raptors there. Still going to be behind holistically in the jungle camps. We'll try to catch up with that while finishing up his side of things. We are going to get the reset coming out for the bot lane of DK. I'm sure they'll go back mid lane. And Diable almost stopping Siwoo's setup of the back there. As okay, it's going to be aiming going back down towards bot side. We do have that dragon up in about a minute.
If we were just looking at this as a pretty bland game, it is 1,000 gold lead here for DK, but the lane matchups Jax is even, or Sion is even. Raptor is slightly ahead of his opponent. VicLa's going even. Everything feels good here for BFX. I say that now. Raptor loses half his HP, but this does stall the Caitlyn and Nico from being able to push on side lanes. So all in all, I'm still actually really happy with where BFX are. It's just the first dragon going over is very problematic, and they're going to be resetting late coming into this next objective spawning on the bottom side.
I'm curious because, okay, we're going to see a little bit of that damage coming out from Siwoo against Clear. You see that Jax getting decently strong in the side lane. He's going to get a lot of answers up here from Raptor and Kellin, but we see a stop off for the mantle and the boots here for VicLa, so he's going to be even more delayed on the rod, and we already had the completion from ShowMaker.
Okay. Raptor's looking for something on top side. We're just ignoring the dragon here. They put so much vision on this side of the map. Siwoo is going to spot out Kellin. Doesn't know that Raptor is here. Kaisa could also join with the Killer Instinct. This could turn into a big trade here for BFX.
Grandmaster's challenge going to come in. They're scared, though. They go back in with the unstoppable onslaught, but missing. Here comes Diable, though, over the top. Killer Instinct isn't going to be enough. Siwoo will finally fall. Raptor getting so low, but BFX were able to execute the dive and get first blood.
All right, so they get a kill, which is worth 300 gold onto Diable. They get maybe 2 or 3 plates. I want to see what top side is going to look like. But while this is happening, Dplus, they get the second dragon of the game. They're going to get a turret in bottom side and had to get the TP, or had to move VicLa into mid to stop ShowMaker from also raising this turret. He got 2 plates top. Okay, like, Caitlyn is still going to be about 300 gold ahead, and all we did was basically go even in gold and lose the scaling game, in my opinion. We're going to now have a Dragon Soul coming up in maybe 15 minutes, or in 10 minutes, I should say, if Dplus KIA can get the next one after this.
Yeah, they can continue snowballing that objective lead. It is a little bit more even this time around in those objectives, which is nice to see from BFX. This has definitely been a more buttoned-up affair from BNK FEARX, and I think that's going to feel really good for them. But we are on first items now coming up for majority members. We had the Collector completed for aiming on the other side for DK, a couple other items, as well as that Sundered Sky there for Lucid. On the other side, though, it is going to be the kind of answer in exactly both those positions with their first items completed. I think it's going to feel pretty nice for Raptor in terms of being able to kind of kick fights off now with the healing of the Sundered Sky. I
thought it was so funny. Chronicler joined our stream last night, or joined the Twitch chat earlier last night, and I was like, "Hey, one, you missed out, or you know, Dplus are playing tomorrow, so because I know he's a big Lucid fan, you can come back tomorrow. But also, Diable getting 6 out of 7 pogs, and he goes, yeah, that sounds about right. And we're gonna need to see that. I mean, he's almost done with his cull here. I expect that he'll be closer to his second item, maybe around the time that the Herald spawns. But kind of has to be that big ticket player for this team if they want any chance, because all of their games have basically been on the back of this Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yeah. And it's nice to see, you know, a culmination of their year being him versus aiming, you know, more established player in that, right? And being able to kind of take him to task if he can. Still down pretty heftily, though, about 500 gold, but it's still very much more even than game number 1. So we get back into things here. About 30 seconds for the Rift Herald setup. I'm sure both teams will be vying for it.
Okay, so let's see what else we can get from just Dplus KIA, right? Like, they're the ones that have been playing with a lot of priority here in this game. Also, I just want to note that ShowMaker finished his Rod of Ages 4 whole minutes before VicLa did. That's going to be a little painful to deal with. And with pushing lanes on specifically the side lane, anytime ShowMaker gets to go into Fog of War, anyone that's sitting in mid lane needs to be very, very afraid, because there could be on these Raptor camps, suddenly there's a Lissandra coming over the wall, and you might just get forced out. Now they're making a big investment. Clear's moving forward. He's going to call down the ultimate.
Going on to BeryL. Oh my god, BeryL sidesteps the charm. The Decimating Smash still comes in, and he is not tanky enough to survive. Cease and Desist going to go through with the vision onto Lucid, and now Lucid's about to go down. Tries to pop the Crescent Guard, but he will not survive. And this is the power of BFX's comp. They are really using this kind of lockdown CC single target that they have beautifully.
That was a good punish, even with BeryL showing some fancy feet. Still ends up going down. Opens up 2 now an objective with alongside it. And BNK FEARX's solo lanes, they got to save their summoner spell, so they teleport right back into the side lanes. They stop any kind of push coming in from Dplus KIA. And, I mean, the kills are going in the right spot. We take a look at this replay. VicLa gets to use some of his bonus HP. I like the idea here from Clear. Like, I'm going to stop the ult because I don't want to run into Nico clone. This is a good punish onto BeryL and a good connect from the rest of the team. Raptor immediately sending the ultimate onto Lucid, and then Diable gets to fly in, gets the kill as well. Like, this is the BNK FEARX that I wanted to see playing in this grand final because they had been so fun to watch in the lower bracket against both Weibo and both against Nongshim.
That's why we came into the day saying we didn't think, or at least didn't want it to be a 3-0 for DK. As this is a very scrappy BFX team, especially here in this tournament. And now they have everything set out in front of them. We do still have one objective to be the decider on the feats of strength, but you have to expect that this Rift Herald is going to be yet another boon of gold for BNK FEARX.
All right, so Kaisa gets to catch this mid. We didn't get to do the proper check-in point for aiming, as aiming uses the ultimate to try to force Diable off the wave. He's 30 CS up, but barely 100 gold over his opponent. Not spelling very good things for Dplus KIA. Potential engage coming in from Raptor.
And this is all you have to do. This is literally their bread and butter. They just go on a one target and take him down. Now they separate that onto BeryL, but he is gone. Lucid's going to fall too, and DK have just fallen straight for the bait like 3 times in a row. ShowMaker's going to get one of the resets. TP's going to come in, but it's not going to be nearly in time. He's going to go ahead and go a little bit golden there, at least with that frozen tomb. Raptor's going to have to flash away. Siwoo is trying to do his darndest, but that's multiple times now. Dplus KIA have just gone straight into the trap jaws of BFX.
And they do get 2 kills, I want to note. And if they were able to maybe kill ShowMaker or they move off of that play, that could have turned into a dragon here for BFX. Doesn't end up being the case. Check back in on this replay. Comes in from Fog of War. There's not much to be done here. Also, the Kaisa gets to fly in with the Killer Instinct. BeryL with a nothing burger of an ultimate. This is just good play coming in from BNK. And Dplus KIA just not really playing up to how their composition really wants to try and make things happen. Caitlyn sets down the traps. ShowMaker with this Lissandra tries to lock down individual members. Now we're going to see BFX try to siege onto mid lane, but Dplus at 18.5 minutes are going to be on sole point.
Yeah, and they're going to get the feats of strength here as well with that completion. So, DK, through seemingly nothing, find something. And they're actually going to look for even more onto the bot side of the map here as they go for the invade. Diable is going to get that top side outer turret, so he's going to get a little bit more gold for BFX to continue propelling this lead forward. And DK, we're just hovering around mid lane with 4 bodies.
I wonder if Mountain Soul is going to be enough to stop BFX, because it doesn't add much raw combat power in terms of damage. It's just mostly a stat ability that gives you more resistances and the shield if you're able to accomplish the soul. I wonder if that is necessarily going to essentially dig Dplus KIA out of the hole that they're in, because if you kind of take away some of the CS leads, particularly from aiming, I mean, there's a 1,500 gold lead opening up in the jungle right now. Raptor has been so much more effective than Lucid here, and maybe that is to kind of note that there's not all that much engage from Dplus KIA, right? We noted that from draft.
You have an easy engage button from BFX. You literally hit R and you have your entire team follow up on you, and it's a very low
well, that's what
bar of
Nico
execution.
does, right?
Yeah, but it hasn't worked. As now Lucid is going to be locked down. Pop Blossom finally lands on a 3-man bouncy castle onto DK. Lucid tries to go over and get Diable, but he'll fall anyways. And I think we're finally getting that BFX that we were hoping to see tonight, Alk, as it is a giant lead that they have over DK early.
Oh, Caitlyn versus Sion. He just walks at him. VicLa ends up picking up the kill. Aiming, this is how you get punished for building Collector. You knew you were going to have to play against a tank top laner at some point in this fight, in this game. Well, turns out it's also going to be an Otacon going over, so BFX, they win a 4-kill fight. They lose nobody in trade, and they'll get the Otacon. So we might have a series on our hands here with BFX taking their first game win against Dplus this entire tournament.
And hey, Godgwall has not switched sides. He is still going to be on BNK FEARX's side, and very good wake-up call, or at least wake-up moment for BFX as we take a look back at this one. And it just, again, these fights kicked off by BFX, but it's like they're walking into a full feast buffet here.
Look at where aiming is. Aiming is nowhere near this engagement. You have maybe Lucid who can do a little bit. Siwoo ends up being late to this fight. Not all the members of DK get to be there when the fight is started by BFX. That ultimate from Kellin came down and really made the fight so much easier for their team.
It did indeed, and now we're sitting with Lucid at 0-3 to his counterpart 2-0-6 Raptor. It's another matchup that we really wanted to highlight tonight, especially with the robust performances we've been seeing from Lucid, but Raptor giving him a run for his money on this one with the Vi. Two picks that have fallen out of contention but still find their way into it. Aiming going to flash over, and Diable is going to follow him right away. Gets the big kill there. Now going to get flashed on by Lucid, trying to get the kill here on a Diable, but he can't do it. Diable is just standing tall, and Raptor punches him in the face. He goes down now too. VicLa is by himself on the other side of the fight. They still end up finding the pick on a Siwoo as well, and that's going to be 3 dead for DK.
There it is. That is a huge fight win for them. Raptor even goes forward trying to kill BeryL, but he has way too much HP to be taken down by his counterparts. Dplus KIA just look lost here as they do not have strong and consistent ways to be able to find and start fights. We're seeing it just time and time again. I asked whether or not the Mountain Soul was going to be enough of an insurance policy to get them back into this game. I don't even think they get to see the Soul here in a minute.
Yeah, no way, as BFX will continue to have control. They are going to get a little bit of a late reset from Raptor here, but should just be fine. Clear is also going to take down an outer turret, get even more gold, as a 6,000 plus gold lead is developed for BFX after that very tough game number 1. Going to feel really good to wake up into the series. As ShowMaker still pretty hefty in the side lane, but really hasn't been a big impact thus far, as BFX now just continuously looking as they're moving onto the top side of the map.
Well, ShowMaker might be dead here. Does have ult coming up. Also has his flash. Doesn't use the claw.
He does still have the Frozen Tomb. He's trying to wait for the cease and desist to come through so he can keep it out of the lockdown. He's going to have to use it now. Pop Blossom, meanwhile, in the transitionary fight as Diable is still just free firing. And please just go next, DK. I don't know where you went in game number 2, but it's not in the game. And BFX have shown up in force. This has been a holistic team effort from a team that has shown so much grit in this tournament.
Everybody showing up here. I mean, Clear with the first pick, Sion, he knew what his job was going to be, and he has been so resilient. I don't think Dplus KIA gave themselves very many options to deal with a tank like this. I think you just look across the board. Raptor had one of his best games of the tournament by far. VicLa just gets to play an Ahri that gets to play Engage, and Diable, I mean, every time we watch this kid play, he looks like an incredible AD carry talent. Now, they're going to pick up Siwoo on the backside of this. I think mostly just slows down their game. Would have preferred if they took a turret here, especially a top tier 2 or a mid lane one. But Dragon going to be started by BFX with an objective bounty on top of it.
All the gold you could ever ask for. It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
That's a throwback to behind the scenes. Anyways, it is going to be a denial of that soul. We're actually going to take a look back at this fight and some of the pullback that BFX had in this transition.
So what exactly happened here? They never pulled the trigger. BeryL barely gets the ultimate at the end. Okay, cool. Cleanse from Diable. Ults himself as well. Doesn't walk on the Caitlyn trap. I was a little worried about that, not gonna lie.
Aiming auto-attacked 1 time.
That's why this Caitlyn, look, it just proves that it wasn't Light's fault. This Caitlyn champion just sucks.
True. It's almost like maybe don't give Diable Kai'Sa. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Honestly, don't give any ADCs Kai'Sa at this point. It's been a pretty dominant pick and continues to be a meta staple. But now an 8,000 gold lead for BFX.
Okay. Well, now let's see how BFX are able to clean this one out right now, because you haven't seen them really progress the game. They still have 3 grubs. We are going to have a Baron, which you always need to be very worried about when there's a Kai'Sa on the enemy team. And I mean, there are not many ways. Like, basically, the only way that I see Dplus KIA coming back in this game is they need to have a miracle fight here. ShowMaker is looking for level 16, gets it now, and will have the ability to teleport into this play.
ShowMaker's been very invisible so far in this game. Can this Lissandra have an impact? We'll find out. Pop Awesome there on to Raptor. Raptor's getting locked down. VicLa makes it out with the Spirit Rush. Siwoo cannot get the kill against Raptor. Now VicLa found the angle with the flank, but the resets for the Spirit Rush. And oh my god, the man ShowMaker that hit level 16, he is still completely invisible. And BFX go 21-3, trying to make it 22. This game number 2 against DK has been a huge come up for BNK FEARX as they go for the Baron.
Massive stomp here. And we look at this replay. Clear gets to sit in front. This is just so tanky from Raptor. The ultimate only lands on the top jungle. I like the theory behind this play. If we can kill their jungler, they're a little less secure about potentially starting up the Baron, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, they're just getting ran in these fights. Now there's too much of a goalie, too much of an experience differential across some of these lanes that I don't think DK have very many options left here. It is Lucid. We're going to come back from the replay. He's going to die to VicLa and Kellin. And, all right, BFX.
GG.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap this one up.
Yeah, you know, it would be nice to not be up till 9 a.m. PT, but hey, I would like a series as well. That would be nice.
You said a 4 or 5 game series. That's going to happen
regardless.
regardless.
Because we know it's going to be that. Because these teams, I mean, not DK, but BFX have just shown the high highs and the low lows throughout the tournament. I think obviously goes to show some of the development, some of the meshing that had happened over the year for BFX. And I think it's really interesting now to see this contrast from game 1 to game 2, what the blue side brings for them, but also what a much more, I feel like, stable draft in terms of, you know, we want to find one target, kill one target, then move on to the next. And the way that they executed it kind of aligned very well.
Remember, we also came out of draft saying that Dplus KIA's draft does not really have a super strong identity outside of just being, like, counters to their opponents. Like, we got the top lane counter later into the game with the Jax. We got the mid lane counter with the Lissandra into Ahri. We have the bot lane 2v2 that should be very good into Kai'Sa's weak early game. But laning phase also hasn't been important for, I would say, about a year and a half now with lane swaps being in the game. I let a pro level anyway. So winning the lane hasn't necessarily been the most important part of the game. So we're going to see BFX look to put the finishing touches on this game number 2.
Dude, it's like stealing candy from a baby at this point. BFX are going to be licking on a lollipop and feeling really nice. As it's going to be 3 kills to Diable. Maybe even looking for a 4th here. Maybe try to give him Penta? Let's see. Oh, clear, bro, clear. That was his Penta.
That was a Penta. That would have been the second Penta of the tournament.
He flashes into the turrets just to know that he did wrong as BFX clean up after game number 1 and hand us a series 1-1 tie against DK in this best of 5.
There we go. All right. Oh, I have to update the sheets. Wait a minute. All right. Ooh, that's the wrong number.
50. They won 50.
There we go. It's a 1.
Look at that. I like that you like. Got like the delay.
Gotta throw it up. Gotta throw it up.
The movie magic, if you will. All right. Well, it is a roundabout, couple stops in the end for 2 games in a row. Hoping we get a little bit more contested games in this series. But if you see, that's a lot of zeros on the side of Dplus KIA in terms of their stats.
No grubs. No wins.
No turrets? Did I see that?
Yeah,
no.
They actually.
They did. No, they got.
I think some of those were bugged. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they were. That's why I was making a joke of. Literally all zeros.
This is the first time that Dplus KIA have lost since the group stage. A team other than Weibo have finally defeated them in a game. I think that is worthy enough of praise. And just a reminder, the last best of 5 that we saw these two play was a Dplus KIA win. It was a 3-1 The BSFI before that was also a 5-game series that we ended up seeing BNK FEARX win. So
Yeah.
maybe there's a little bit more in the cards here for tonight's games.
Hey, 4 or 5 games. We said it. But honestly, it just a little peek in. Like, do you just chalk this one up for DK? Like, what was the problem? Was it the draft? Like, I don't know, because I feel like there were some systematic issues.
They also played pretty.
Yeah,
bad.
that's what I want to highlight. Is like they literally just walked into a shotgun trap and were wondering why their head got blown off.
I don't think that they had very many ways of being able to play. Like, they had to basically leverage their winning lanes to turn into basically a winning game state. And for the most part, I would say the game went fine, right? We got the first 2 dragons of the game. We didn't get the grubs for one reason or another, but then it turns into, okay, we actually don't have BeryL on like primary engage. We don't have very many ways of getting into a fight. You're basically sending your Zins out into a backline, and that sounds really, really miserable.
Yeah, you don't have any primary engage at least, and that's also something that probably will be important at Worlds too. But something we've seen over this split 3 and into this tournament itself is if you don't have a center point of engage, I don't think comps work in this meta. Like it's so difficult, especially when the other team has that. And we saw that multiple times. Like they had so many engage angles that they were able to use consistently.
So who do we think MVP? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Raptor, right? Okay. Diable got set up a lot, yes, but I feel like Raptor had a very, very strong game.
All he had to do was hit R, bro.
Okay, and most AD carries, all he had to do is right-click.
But that's not what Diable did. Diable did this time. He found angles.
He right-click. He pressed R and then he
right-clicked real good. Yeah, exactly. But he has to position his R. He has to find the angle, do the math.
I'm sure.
Bro, I love it because you were the one glazing Diable.
It's not
like,
glaze. It's real.
I don't want to give him the MVP. Screw that guy.
Give it to me. Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
We already got. I think the AD carries are just gonna get robbed tonight, considering we didn't give it in the last game.
Dude, they should have given it to Kellin.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's true.
What a game though. And I think Dplus KIA will be going back to the drawing board themselves. We said that for BNK FEARX after game number 1. It's going to be very similar for Dplus KIA. We will see. Okay, 3 out of 5. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I'm surprised we didn't get a single Kellin vote, but okay. But we do end up getting a tied series 1-1. We are going to come back after a short little break for that game number 3.